Turmoil in the NFC East this week as Chip Kelly is released by the Eagles a week before the end to their regular season. The Chipster will not be around for their final matchup against New York. Speaking of which, a similar fate could be in store for Tom Coughlin, the 11-year man up in East Rutherford. This will mark the Giants' fourth season without a playoff appearance and their third with a losing record. The Redskins win. All hell breaks loose. So, lots of happenings as we gear up for Dallas round 2. We got to preview that game because even if the outcome doesn't technically impact the playoff picture, it's still Dallas, and the question of whether or not to sit the starters has everybody riled up. So, join us for the game preview next on the Hogstie.
It's the Hogstie.
And we're back. Like I said, Dallas round 2. My name's Sean Conti. Alex Zeese, what's up, my man?
Hey, man, I am so on cloud 9 from the Chip Kelly news.
Hilarious.
I'm wondering, if we put 50 up on Garrett, do you think we could have the most senior head coach next year in the entire NFC East?
Good Lord. Put it that way. That's crazy. What a crazy year it's been. That's what people are writing in Chip Kelly's yearbook right now. What a crazy long year it's been, Chip. Steve Thomas, what's up, man?
I'm very happy that we are getting coaches fired instead of our coaches getting fired. It's a welcome change.
Exactly. Robbie Duncan, I'm sure you're pleased with this development, eh?
I like that. I sure do. I love the
like
dysfunction.
That's right.
By the way, I'm coming at you guys live with a brand new microphone that I got from Santa.
Yeah, we were. Didn't we talk about that last week?
I don't think we talked about it in the last episode.
Listen to the smooth
I don't think we addressed it in the episode itself. But
It's exciting news for the audience, I'm sure.
I sound a lot more clearer now.
The audience there, they're sitting at home. They're like, who is this sexy man I've never heard on this show before? My goodness.
And now, Kenny G.
So, guys, let's talk a little bit. We got to preview the Dallas game, obviously, but let's talk a little bit about this Chip Kelly situation. I think you could see this coming from a mile away, especially since the way things started out this season for them. It never quite got back on track. So, any thoughts about? I mean, it's probably the right move, right?
So
I'm
long,
simultaneously
farewell.
I'm simultaneously happy and sad both, because I'm happy, like I said, that the Eagles did so bad against us that the coach got fired, but I'm a little sad that they got rid of a bad coach.
Yeah.
Because the next thing is they could get a good coach, which I'd rather them stink. So I have mixed emotions.
See, I argue that he is a good coach, but he's not. He's a terrible GM. I think he put his team in a terrible situation, and he couldn't coach his way out of it.
Yeah.
I think if he is put on a team where he just coaches the team and does what he's told from the front office, I think he'd be doing a lot better. The Eagles were doing better when he didn't have control of the team.
Yeah. He never should have got those privileges.
Yeah.
Well, you know what he is to me? It's the classic hubris will bring you down quickly kind of situation.
Fall of man.
I mean, first off, he kind of had that same arrogance we had with Mike Shanahan, but he didn't have 2 Super Bowl rings to back it up.
That's a great point.
Well, and Mike Shanahan didn't get rid of Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, and LaShawn McCoy. I don't see how any coach could look at that and think that that's a good idea. You got rid of the 3 most talented players on the team on either side of the ball, and you think Riley Cooper is going to replace him. That's just insanity. It's ego at its worst.
It's more I have a system, and my system's golden, and it'll work. No, it doesn't. Giving the other team the ball for 40 minutes a game is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Right.
It was simply that they got rid of extreme talent and did not replace it with extreme talent.
That's the bigger issues to why he's.
Well, who was it that you said, Alex? The ESPN said that Chip Kelly's biggest mistake was letting Deshaun Jackson go.
Who was that? It was one of their, insider guys. I can't.
Schefter or somebody.
Come on.
Was that today? Was that an article from today?
No.
Someone said it live
from 20 minutes ago.
Today being Tuesday, we're recording this on Tuesday because of the holiday, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was live on TV like 20 minutes ago. They just had all the guys coming on, and saying, well, here's what I think. Adam Schefter was saying, I think Chip Kelly could go back to Connecticut and coach high school. That's what he really wants to do. Weird
he doesn't want
like
to do that.
Yeah, okay.
He's going.
This is just Adam Schefter being.
He's going to the Titans. I will put money down on that. I
think he's going to college.
I don't think he is. I think he's too he has too much pride to go back down to the college level. I think he's going to do his hardest to stay in the pros, and I think the Titans are going to want him paired with Marcus Mariota. I think it makes perfect sense.
Another minor point: if he wants to go back to college, he might have to wait a year. I mean, most colleges have their coaches figured out. They're already in the middle of recruiting.
That's a good point.
Although, I mean, USC would be a pretty big. That would be appealing.
Yeah.
They're vacant.
Yeah. Sure.
So I think college is a great fit for him. Obviously, he had success there before, not so much success in the pro system. So, I mean, going back to college makes sense. My question for you guys is, if you're a pro team and you're interested, I mean, are you at all concerned about what he's done with Philly? And I feel like the whole letting go of all their talent, I mean, it doesn't work like that in college. So you'd feel safer hiring him for that job. But in the pros, I mean, is he really not going to scare potential suitors off with this history?
Well, I think Robbie said it right. He may be a good coach. He's a terrible GM. And so any owner who's going to sit down and want with him and want to hire Chip Kelly, number one, you've got to be wild in the interview, right? He's got to come in and blow you away because he had a bad
some trash cans.
And maybe he can do that,
Stay on the table,
but the other thing is, I think Chip is going to have to learn that at his next stop, he's already blown his chance to be the GM/coach/ everything. So he's going to have to accept the situation with a little bit less power, I think.
Yeah.
I think the other thing to keep in mind is he went to a loaded team and gutted it. His next team, if he stays in the NFL, won't be loaded because he's now in reclamation project mode himself.
Well,
right.
I mean,
so
the Titans
are
rebuilt. The Titans are rebuilding. Robbie's Titans. They're not exactly a powerhouse. They have a quarterback, but
they don't have
anything
they have
else.
a decent
Deshaun
offensive
Jackson.
line too. There.
Yeah.
He'd go in and he'd trade all of them. That's what he'd do.
I don't like how you have a cut.
You're not from Oregon. Get out of here.
I will say this about Chip. I thought that the racial undertones, the allegations that what he was doing was getting rid of talented African Americans, I thought were totally bogus.
Yeah, but that was nasty business. Just being involved in that kind of thing, so nasty.
It was. Yeah, but I didn't think that was fair because there was no evidence that he was trying to do that. I didn't think. So he may be a crummy GM, but I thought it was unfair to label him a racist.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I don't think there's enough proof, but, at the same time, how many guys came out and said something that always raises an eyebrow for me.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, and it must be said that we're four white guys, doing this, and so the perspective of an African American may be different.
Spoiler alert,
I've had
we're all
multiple
white.
African Americans already on Facebook and Twitter say that they really think there was something to it.
Well, except they kept a lot of African American players too. That's why
Yeah, that's true.
They brought in DeMarco Murray. He's black.
That's true.
But isn't he was a Texan, so
That's another species completely. Yeah. Well, I guess the last question about Chip Kelly, and then we should chat briefly about Coughlin too. But the last question would be, do you think he would be willing to accept a lesser role, to stay in the pros? Is he going to be willing? He only had those privileges in terms of personnel for 1 year, I believe, right? So, do you think he'll be willing to let go of that to take another pro coaching position, or does he just say, "Screw it, I'm going back to college, whatever"?
Well, I don't think he's going to have a choice. I think teams are going to say, "Hey, you pretty much just screw the pooch with your GM job. I'm not going to give you that chance again. Just coach my team, get them in the right direction. We'll find the personnel for you."
Yeah.
That's exactly right. He's not. He may want whatever he wants, but we all may want to date Cindy Crawford. That doesn't mean she's going to give us the time of day.
Cindy Crawford
Trust
ain't
me, I
walking
know.
through that door.
generational gap. Right
Okay,
there.
well maybe so.
She's
You guys even know
timelessly
who
hot,
she
man.
is?
Come on.
I know who she is. She was married to David Copperfield.
No, she
Seal,
was married to
wasn't
Richard Gere.
Seal.
Richard Gere. She was married to Richard Gere. No, Heidi Klum was married to Seal. I know my supermodel husbands.
The other old model.
Who was married to David Copperfield? I thought it was
That
Cindy
I don't know. I don't know who he was married to, but Cindy Crawford was married to Richard Gere back in the day.
Robbie
Back
just
when
blew
y'all
his
were
chances
just,
with
young
Crawford
and
and Klum by calling them
No,
old.
she was married. They were married.
No.
I just looked it up. They were.
Oh,
Thank
He's
you,
got the
Renee.
speed of Google at his fingertips, man.
Speaking of marriages, it's very possible that Tom Coughlin may be divorced from the Giants by Monday as well.
Well,
finally the year, yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people are speculating that it is because, again, we called it out up front. 4 seasons without a Super Bowl. Without a postseason appearance. Obviously, they got a Super Bowl in there, but it's 3 years of the losing record, and a lot of people expected him to retire after that last victory. So, yeah.
The thing is, to me, though, I don't think – people want him gone, but I still yet to understand why. He brought them 2 Super Bowls. I don't think he's had – that good of a team to work with the past couple of years. They've had their moments, but
I heard somebody put it this way. I don't remember who it was on the radio. It might have been Chad Dukes or Holden Kushner or someone. But the notion in New York that at least as they're seeing it is that the game is passing Coughlin by. He's 67, which even in head coach terms is getting really up there. So
see, I don't know if that's passing him by though. He has our number.
Here's the thing, though.
Probably is going to make the Hall of
he
Fame.
definitely deserves
Everybody
it.
needs to remember. Everybody needs to remember about the Giants. It's a very conservative organization. It's been run by the same, Wellington, the Mara family forever. Going back to the dad. They don't move fast. They don't panic. We all hate, Mara around here for obvious reasons, but it's a well-run organization. And they're not one to just deep six Tom Coughlin just because. They've been through this before. There was a fan outcry a couple years ago where everybody wanted him fired, and they didn't do it. So if you ask me, I don't think it's time yet. I have no inside knowledge of anything. I think he'll be back next year.
Well, I think the New York sports media is rampant with speculation about him retiring.
Yeah, just saying that they've been rampant with that speculation before, and he's stuck around. You're right, though.
Sure.
It seems a little different this year, and it started earlier this year too. They've been speculating about that since early in the season. We will have to see. Obviously, you got a point about Coughlin?
No, but I have a point that, according to Wikipedia, David Copperfield's partner / wife was Claudia Schiffer, not
Claudia
Cindy
Schiffer.
Crawford.
So Steve will not talk about Marvel, but he's going to talk about supermodel marriages.
I knew
and
I
the
knew the
magician.
Cindy
Don't
Crawford
forget-
one. I knew that one. That's the only one I knew.
All right. Well,
David
we will.
Copperfield has
Yeah,
all sorts
there you
of
go.
other
Point
weird
proven
stuff
there.
going on.
You are the master of supermodel marriages. So
It's a magician.
back to NFC East coaches. It looks like those two guys questionable future. Well, obviously no more mystery around Chip Kelly and a question mark for Coughlin. Garrett's obviously safe because he signed his big boy pants contract, so he's not going anywhere.
Why does that make him safe?
Well, it's
Jerry
a lot
Jones
of money,
has more
and that's
money
flushing
than-
a lot of money.
So Jerry Jones is willing to flush money.
$24 million flush?
$30 million he would lose.
That's a lot to flush.
I think Jerry Jones would burn the state of Texas down if it meant he was going to win.
Well, you might
Maybe.
be right
I
about
mean,
that.
If we blow them out somehow this week, anything.
I
possible,
personally hope
you
that
know.
Garrett doesn't get fired. He's a jag of a coach. I think he's not taking them anywhere. I think he's fine where he is. Keep letting him be mediocre.
Well, you guys remember that we, back in the off season, we did I forgot what name we had from, but we reviewed all the off seasons for the teams in the NFC East, and one of the things we pointed out about Dallas was that they brought in a play caller, who's been the play call for the past 2 years, and they kind of severely neutered Jason Garrett's power, and that is when Dallas started to get better, is because it was 3 years ago when Jerry almost fired Garrett, and he didn't do that. Instead, he brought in a new play caller, he brought in Callahan, he minimized Jason Garrett's role, and magically the team got better, and so I think what you have is Jason Garrett is the yes man, who probably isn't as involved as some other coaches. I think Robbie's exactly right. He's just a guy, and that's it, and so that's good. I mean, that's good for us.
What's the benefit of setting things up that way? I've gotten the similar vibes from Garrett that he's kind of a yes man.
Ego.
Yeah.
Jerry's ego. He wants somebody who's going to go in there and kiss his feet, metaphorically speaking. Jerry wants to be the man. You cannot have
Maybe
Barry.
not metaphorically speaking.
Well, maybe not. Yeah, who knows?
He's not
I mean, you
Ryan.
can have a Chip Kelly strong personality in there. It doesn't work with Jerry Jones. Trust me. Can't do it. I know.
I trust you, Steve.
Yeah.
You have some background in this that most
do.
of us don't.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is a good segue into a little game preview. I am of the feeling that Garrett is safe, but he still wants to end this season on a positive note, and he's going to be looking for the win here. At least they can say we swept the Redskins, I guess, in their losing season. So, does that make you feel like we should be concerned about starting any players? What do you think is going to go on during this game? Let's get right into it. Dallas week round 2.
Well, I mean, we talked about this last week a little bit on the last show. I am still of the mind that we start all of our starters who are healthy enough to play and see how the game goes. You know, I think it's important for momentum. I think it's very important to be 9-7 to finish the season off.
Sure. Now,
I think because it's Dallas in particular, I think it's very important.
I would agree with you. Now, does it concern you at all that if you recall, think back to our last matchup against Dallas this year, it was kind of a sack fest. We had a hard time keeping Cousins upright. That kind of thing makes me a little nervous.
I mean, I understand being nervous, but at the same time, I don't see that repeating again for some reason. I just, that's how these games always go for the Redskins and the Cowboys. One game is going to be a tough physical defensive game, and the next one will be crazy offensive usually, and it ebbs and flows every year.
But see, though, they really shouldn't even want to win this game. Really, I mean, if they win this game, they could drop from being a top 3 pick in the draft to like in the 10s. So I mean, I know the players don't really give a damn about that, but I'm sure Jerry Jones does. He wants to get that high pick.
Yeah,
As Jason Garrett,
he probably does
too.
Yeah, I mean, as an organization, certainly they would probably rather lose, but the players don't. But I don't know how much it's going to matter, honestly, because the Dallas Cowboys are starting Kellen Moore as their quarterback. I'll repeat that. The Dallas Cowboys are starting Kellen Moore.
What?
Now, I think you three guys probably know who he is, but for the benefit of the audience who are not college football fans, Kellen Moore was the quarterback of the Boise State Broncos that got snubbed by the BCS several years ago for a couple years in a row. He's about 6 foot if he's got platform shoes on, and about $185 if he's got weights in his pockets. He's got a noodle arm. He's got a lot of moxie. He's a very smart guy, but he's Kellen Moore, for God's sakes.
Did he start for a year in Carolina or something?
No, he didn't.
No?
Was it Matt Moore?
He has not started a game before that. Yeah,
that's
Matt
thinking
Moore.
Of Matt Moore.
Kellen Moore is who we're facing is the Boise State quarterback. And just for he started he played last week. 50% completion rating, 45.5 quarterback rating, 4 interceptions, 1 touchdown. So
calling him a weak-armed quarterback is a very severe understatement or overstatement. I think.
Are we talking?
It's
John
bad.
Beck?
Like he's
like Pat White.
It has
level.
zero zip on that ball. It just like.
God, that's what going through 8 quarterbacks in a season will do to you.
I'm a Mountain West football fan, believe it or not, in college, so I did watch Kellen Moore a few times, and he looks like a prototypical. Kellen Moore has a classic college quarterback arm. It's not good enough to be a pro arm. It's as simple as that.
You listen to all of this, and is it really that much of a victory for the team if you beat a limping Cowboys team at the very end?
Yes.
Is it really, though? It sounds like they're not really particularly – you have to expect they're not
Dallas.
particularly going that hard for it. We're going out there, subjecting ourselves to risk.
It is Dallas. Yes.
It's Dallas, but at the same time, there are teams who have
Dallas.
clinched who are sitting players this week. And those are teams that routinely win.
Wait, who's sitting players this week? No one in the NFC, because no one else is apparently in our situation, right?
Who cares if it's NFC or AFC?
Oh no, I can't think of who.
Does Bill Belichick? There's a hint for you. Go out there and say, let's go out there and destroy a limping New York Jets team who's got 2 wins on the season at the end of the year.
He does do that.
No, he doesn't.
Yes,
he sits his dudes.
Yes, he does. No, he doesn't.
He sits his dudes.
Tom Brady
He even gave them the win. It's like, here, Jets, we'll give you the ball in overtime.
I could have sworn he always started Tom Brady in those games. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll take you guys.
You're telling me it's uncommon to sit good players at the end of the season.
No, it's not uncommon. But look, we're 8-7. We're a statistically a mediocre team who's riding a wave of momentum. We need to keep it up.
Well, okay, so then let me ask you this: Are you of a mind to sit anybody? Trent Williams, anybody on the team?
It depends on their health. If they're all healthy, if it were me, I would play everybody like a normal game.
And Robbie,
but if they're not healthy,
go ahead.
Huh?
I would think one of the top people you should rest is Morgan Moses. His foot thing is a little bit of a concern to me. Just let him rest. Put Ty Nsekhe in. He'll do a solid enough job as a replacement. Maybe you do rest Jordan Reed. I don't think you need to play him to beat the Cowboys.
But then, see, now you get into a situation of I'm putting Kirk Cousins out there without his best tools. So, see, it gets complicated,
We don't win without Jordan Reed.
Exactly.
We don't.
That's right.
We need Jordan Reed.
Well, then maybe you rest D-Jax.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't rest anybody. That's just me. If I were the coach, anybody who's healthy would be playing. Maybe Morgan Moses ought to rest. Maybe he's an exception. But generally speaking, I think we need to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I hear you about the momentum thing, and many people were making that point on the radio today. I think it could go either way.
Well, there are a couple of guys who are hurt to a point where it probably makes sense. I mean, we've heard Golson has a cracked rib. D'Angelo Hall says he wants to play, but he doesn't know if he'll be physically able to.
D'Angelo has a calf problem, by the way. He said to the media that he originally thought it was cramps, but after it persisted, it's a pulled muscle or something. So his status is unknown.
Right.
So maybe you just let Kaishon Jarrett take over for D'Angelo Hall for this week and not sweat too much about it, because I think we all know that Jarrett can handle his own pretty well.
Yeah, and listen, the team needs to be smart. All my point is we don't need to have a mass sit down. It's not a preseason game.
Yeah,
Very true.
They
need to play
anyway.
Right.
With the players we have on the roster, and I think we cut Ham today and signed some corner off the street.
No, he wasn't off the street. He was off the practice squad.
Oh,
and I liked him. His name was Harris. The last name was Harris. What I don't know anything about him other than he was on our practice squad. But what's interesting to me, he's 6'2". More of a Richard Sherman mold of corner.
Okay.
I think it's no secret that Scott McCloughan said, I don't really care about that stuff, but he seems to still be attracted to the 6'2" corner.
He is lying. Yeah, of course he cares.
Well, this is another point to make about sitting guys and also about the matchup for this week. So, Rob, you mentioned, maybe Morgan Moses is one of those guys to sit. Maybe Trent Williams is one of those guys to sit. What are we going to do? Because if you think back, again, to this matchup earlier this year, the linebackers on the Cowboys and the linemen kind of had a field day. So if you're sitting those guys above any others, and that was the kind of bad, that was the bad part of the game last matchup. That's not a good sequence of events to go into this game with, I would think. What are we going to do to limit guys like Sean Lee and the other, guys with a field day?
Sean Lee's going to be Sean Lee. He's, when we were fresh playing against him, he still made a shit ton of plays and was all over the place.
Very true.
So,
very true.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about him because, he's going to make his plays.
Well, yeah, their leading sacker is DeMarcus Lawrence, the defensive end. He's got 8 sacks. As a team, they're not a huge sacking team. They've only had 30 sacks.
I'm talking about their game against us.
Yeah.
They had
a good game against us, that's for sure.
No, they certainly did because, that's the way these games go. I just mean this is not a team. Defensively, the defense is certainly the best unit on the Cowboy team, but, they're kind of mediocre themselves. This is just a bad team. They played up, a little bit in the last game against us a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And they beat us. But this is not a good team. They're 16th in points, 24th in total yards. I'm not going to read them all, but
impending 4 and 12
rushing yards.
Finish.
Yeah, pending 4 and 12. the 31st in rushing yards per attempt. They're not a good team, and we should beat them if we play decently. We should, even though they're favored. I mentioned this to you guys off air. I don't understand. The early line on this game was Dallas minus 3.5. I don't get it.
What?
I don't get the only line I could find this morning as I was doing our stat thing, preparing for our written game preview. The only one that was out yet was Dallas minus 3.5, which just blew my mind.
The Redskins get so clowned in these things.
Oh, I know. It's awful.
Well, and I've told you before, gambling is more about how do we get the suckers to bet.
Yeah.
It's not actually about who's going to win.
Well, so then you're going to bet Redskins, if you see that line. I guess that's the...
I guess they're really just just basically basing it off of the home field advantage, I would think. I mean,
Yeah,
what else is there to say that Dallas is going to win this
And the
game?
fact that we
Starting
do not play
Kellen
well
Moore.
on the road.
Exactly. Kellen Moore. That's all you have to say.
Well,
God.
I mean, they could also be thinking the Redskins are going to bench a lot of guys. And, all right, so maybe Dallas can beat a Colt McCoy, Chris Thompson offense, you know.
I think we got to, speaking of that, I think we have to raise it because it's come up. Let's assume that Jay Gruden either benches Kirk Cousins for the game or pulls him out in the second quarter, third quarter.
Sure.
Is Robert Griffin active?
No.
Do you let him play?
Not for
No.
the money.
I think it would almost be an insult to
No.
him at this point to let him play. I think it's almost, number one, it's a risk, an injury risk.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I think it's almost kind of thumbing your nose in his face a little bit.
Right.
Well, if Kirk is inactive and not playing for the day, I mean,
Not-
you would have to activate him on the
Yeah,
game day
Well,
roster.
I don't think you even make that risk. I think if you say Colt's going to be our starter for this game, that's fine. Kirk's your number 2.
Yeah.
Right.
If Colt gets hurt, you got to put Kirk in.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as that's a risk, you can't risk the entire future next year by having RG3's $60 million cap hit on us.
Yeah,
True.
I
It's
agree.
not 60. It's 16, not 60.
He's at 16.
I
You
said
said-
I think.
I said 16.
Oh, you did? 60 is a little big.
60 would be high. 60 would be a little bit high.
I'm not that high. I'm not that high off.
Well, yeah, I don't know. We will see. Obviously, very interesting situation brewing with.
What does anybody think's going to happen in this game? I mean, we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about.
Well, I also
How
want
do
to
we
say this.
think the game's
Gruden, I
gonna
believe,
go?
before we get off the topic, Gruden did say his intention is to start the starters. I believe. So,
Right.
for what that's
Well,
worth.
he
I don't
said-
know if that's going to change, but that's what he said today, just to put it out there.
He said the health of the football team is important. Some guys are banged up. I can't do the Robbie impression, but this isn't preseason where you have 80 players. We only have 46, so they're all going to play if they're suited
Yeah.
up.
So, we will see if that situation changes. But yes, let's get back to the game. Steve, if you had a thought, I was going to say, Jason Witten, Des Bryant, what are you going to do about these guys?
Oh, I mean, the same thing we always try to do. On
Trying
Bryant.
to take over the world.
Prevent him from running straight up.
Well, I mean, the Des Bryant question's a little bit easier. What you do with Des is you put Breland on him, and you shade a safety over. Witten has always been the matchup problem with our linebackers. I think maybe Compton matches up a little bit better than our prior linebackers did. Perry Riley obviously was horrible in coverage, to the
and
extent he had to do it.
Foster's probably going to be an okay option there too.
Yeah, so the X factor I think is for Dallas is always Jason Witten, because he's just killed us over the years.
Right.
So
And
that's the X factor.
It amazes me though that he's still, making plays like he is. You watch him running his routes. He is slow. He's so slow. I mean, how can you not cover him? I guess he's just so good at running his routes. He's so precise and all that. But I mean, it's frustrating sometimes.
Quick question. I didn't watch them play the Bills. Who is more favoring when he's throwing the ball? Is it Witten or Jackson or?
I did. You know what? I didn't watch the game either. But he only completed half of his passes, so he's not really favoring much of anybody. He's
favoring the air.
Zing.
And they lost that game
Or the
too.
ground.
So, but Witten is their leading receiver. He's got 71 receptions this year.
Well,
Which
that's also because of injuries.
Oh,
too.
it is
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But he's been their
Right.
leading receiver before. I mean, I guess you're right, because he's very unathletic at this point. He's very slow. He's big, for sure. But he must run the most precise routes ever.
He's a
And
weak-armed
got great
quarterback's
hands.
dream, in a way.
He's got great hands too.
And, I mean, he had the same kind of talent that way back when Chris Cooley had, where he just finds those gaps and sits in them.
Yep.
Only better than Cooley ever did.
Oh yeah, of course. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
that's a similar
Yeah.
thing.
Hate to say it, Redskins fans, but Jason Witten was a better tight end than Chris Cooley. Let's just get that
Yeah.
out there.
We had
Torches
a
and
little hope for a
pitchforks.
while.
Would anybody really put up a fight with you on that one? I wouldn't even put up a fight on that one.
I mean,
I
love
guarantee
I
him,
mean,
you.
I love
but
him too,
no.
but come on.
There are
Oh,
fans.
the
out
most-
One
there
guy's
that
still
are-
playing.
Oh yeah,
Just wait.
there's going to be somebody lined up in front of my house, about that one. It's going to be the you hate Kirk Cousins crowd, and now the other one's going to be the I hate Chris Cooley crowd. Don't hate Cooley.
You like Jason Witten.
You know what? He's
Steve
going to be in the Hall of
hates
Fame.
Joyful
Sue
white
me.
boys.
Joyful white boys.
Yeah, I would say Kirk Cousins and Chris Cooley. They're both very joyful
Jason
little...
Witten's a joyful white boy. I don't hate him. I do hate him because he's on Dallas, but I just meant the guy's a great tight end. Let's move on.
I'm buying a you like that shirt with the division champs on there. Did you guys see that they put out a new T-shirt today?
Yes.
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I guess I'm the Scrooge about it. I'm getting really tired of hearing it.
It's been wholeheartedly embraced. It's kind of impressive.
We need a new slogan.
Yeah.
It's the team's motto. It's their rallying cry. I'm not.
And I think
it's nice to have an
episode
idea.
I said. Well, the last episode I said the first 85,000 times I heard it was okay. We're up to about 150,000 over the past week.
It's a lot.
Right.
It's a little oversaturating.
I'm getting yeah.
By the way,
it really is.
Minor thing, those NFC East championship hats, can they make them a little better looking than some bland,
ugly.
gray, awful hats?
They were ugly.
They're trying to make us. They're like, buy it. No, it looks awful.
They
But
should
it
not
doesn't
even
look like
make
Redskins
Washington
colors,
Redskins
number one.
division championship hats. We did not win the division
that's
so much
true.
as we took it out back of the shed and put it down. It's
like
I was
Old
wondering
Yeller.
Where you gonna go?
Yeah.
Get out of the junk pile, maybe.
yeah. I mean, like we are not the champions of anything. Like nobody should own those hats.
They have back in the shed, and let me tell you, we gave it.
But Mama, I don't want Old Yeller to die.
I think maybe we called the tow truck and got it out of the ditch.
Right.
Our
there
tow
you go.
truck got there first.
Right. It just feels weird.
Anyway, since we got a lot of other stuff to talk about, in
Yes.
terms of the game, if we play everybody, I think Dallas has probably quit. Kellen Moore wants to prove something, so he's going to try hard. But Kellen Moore has no NFL talent, so he's not going to do very well. No matter how hard he tries. So if things hold the form with Dallas, kind of wrapping it up for the season, I think we should probably win this one in as easy a fashion as a Dallas game could go.
I'm expecting us to be very vanilla. I don't think we're going to be very aggressive. I think, at least on defense, I think Joe Barry's going to be straight cover 3, keep everything in front of us, let our front guys get the pressure on Kellen Moore, and then just, pursue to the football after he gets rid of it. I don't think he's going to be anything elaborate. I don't think you have to be elaborate to beat Kellen Moore. You just back up and play football,
Fluster him a little bit when you
Send
can.
the occasional blitz to confuse them.
I'm
or
also
something.
really interested to see how Preston Smith will do against Tyron Smith this week. With him kind of coming alive right now, breaking out, I want to see if he can get some good reps in on Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good call out.
And my guess for how this game's going to go is I think they've quit. I like to think they've quit at least. We get an early lead, something like go in with 14 points at the half, up above, maybe 17-3, I don't know. And, then we just kind of control the clock the second half and end the game.
Yeah.
I think I'm more or less in agreement with you guys. I think, as opposed to you guys, I think they're going to play us a little bit tougher. I hear what you're saying about the give up thing, but I think they're going to play us tough. I think it's a statement that Garrett wants to make and the team wants to make. Finishing on the bottom this year. I think we're going to win, but it's going to be a slim margin, maybe 17-21 Skins.
It's going to be a running game from the Dallas perspective because they do have more back there. They are a decent running team. They're fourth in the NFL in rushing yards per attempt. I mean,
Right.
McFadden is a decent. I would call him a good back. Maybe not great, not mediocre. He's
He
good.
gets
I think
yards.
that's his first year where he's been healthy.
Yeah, he does get yards. He's averaging almost 4.5 yards per carry, 4.4 yards per attempt this year. So it's going to be a healthy dose of run, so they don't have to put the game on Kellen Moore's shoulders.
We enjoy
'cause
handing
his
out
shoulders
good,
are too slim.
We
for
enjoy
that.
giving out good running days. Here's a good running day for you, sir. Here's one for you, sir.
Yeah, we enjoy giving Hall of Fame running days out.
Damn
actually.
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because we are still, by the way, people, this division champion playoff team, yeehaw, we're great. We are 31st in rushing yards per attempt.
Yeah, baby. We put people in the Pro Bowl, just not on our team.
Yeah.
And
No,
we also
'cause
fire
our-
coaches.
we are clearly a better defense than last year, so I'm going to take that.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
no,
true.
our run defense is clearly worse.
Well,
It
yeah,
is our
no,
passing,
I meant
our
overall.
secondary is clearly bad. We've basically flip-flopped. We were just atrociously bad in pass defense last year.
Yeah.
We are pretty good run defense. Now we're the opposite. We're a horrible run defense.
Yep.
Right.
You know, and I know some fans out there have been saying we've kind of got the problem cured for the past couple weeks. We really haven't. They just haven't been running the ball on us very much the past few weeks, but their yards per attempt has been way up there. Dallas, or not Dallas, the Eagles, the Bills, they all ran the ball fairly well from a statistical standpoint.
Yeah.
They just didn't run the ball a lot. That's all it was.
But the one that I always focus the most on is points per game.
Sure.
And I think we've improved a lot there.
That is because of pass defense. We're not giving up wide open, tight ends running by themselves down the. Well, we did give that up last week, but the quarterback missed the ball. But you know what I mean,
right?
Yeah. I think we last I checked, we had improved by about a touchdown a game, and that's pretty
that's
big.
significant.
And turnovers.
And I don't know if we're still at that. But
Turnovers,
yeah,
yes,
we're
we've been
much
good
better
about
on
that.
turnover. We're +1 on the year on turnovers, which is a heck of a lot better than last year. So that's good. Yeah.
It's better than -1.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this is a good time to move a little bit into a conversation about the playoffs, because at this point in the year, we know who the Redskins are. This problem defending the run is not going to get changed through this playoff
Or the
run.
inability
we are
to
who
run.
we are.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
So I understand the playoff picture has clarified a bit. It's not looking like Seattle is the potential matchup. So, Steve, I know you've got some stuff on that. Let's take us through
I do. And what's interesting is, we recorded the last episode in the middle of the Seattle, in the middle of the afternoon games. And what we told you guys was that Seattle was in the best position of maybe, they were in the lead. Well, as a result of Seattle losing, Minnesota winning, and Green Bay losing,
immediately
that
nullified.
flipped completely on its head. Yeah, it was immediately
Thank you,
wrong.
God.
So I can simplify it. Here's the simple version, okay? The Green Bay is playing Minnesota next week on Sunday. Minnesota and Seattle's got the Cardinals. The winner of the Green Bay Minnesota game is the NFC North champion. If Green Bay wins the game. Well, it's simpler, if Minnesota wins the game, Green Bay is our opponent, period. Because Green Bay has the tiebreaker over Seattle by virtue of them beating Seattle earlier in the year. So if Minnesota wins, it's Green Bay is coming to D.C. If Green Bay wins the game, it then depends on what Seattle does. Because Seattle has the tiebreaker over Minnesota. And if Green Bay wins, both Seattle and Seattle, if Green Bay wins and Seattle wins, both Minnesota and Seattle will be 10-6, and then we'll face Seattle. If Seattle loses, then Minnesota will become our opponent. So
now, the best part about all that is that Seattle plays
Cardinals.
Seattle plays the Cardinals in Arizona.
Maybe the best
and
team in
the
the
Cardinals
NFL.
are playing for first place right now.
Yeah. Did that make
they're
sense,
gonna be
though?
going
Yes.
100%. Yep.
Was it clear?
Basically-
Okay.
So really, if you don't want to face Seattle, all you have to say is you need them to lose this next game, essentially.
Yeah, or root for a Green Bay, a Minnesota win, or a Seattle loss.
There you go.
Well, I'm just going to root for a Seattle loss.
Yeah,
anyway.
I always
They
do
will
that
lose.
by
I
default.
mean, the Cardinals are just unfreaking believable right now.
Yeah.
A nightmare. The Cardinals are a nightmare
and-
for anybody.
I don't know if we want to get into this now, but no matter who we face next round, I assume that
That's going to be it for us.
Yeah, I assume we'd have to face Arizona.
No, I'm
after
pretty
that.
sure it's
Yeah,
Carolina.
and well, I
Either
don't know
way,
because
we're done.
Carolina is going to be the number 1 seed, and so they're going to face the winner of the
well, no, we
4-5
don't know who's the number
matchup.
one.
So I think we'd face
Carolina.
They're going to face the lower seed, so I think it's going to be Carolina.
I mean, we don't know for sure if Carolina.
Either way, it's going to be awful.
Well,
Yeah.
Either way, essentially, we have a one-round potential and then a
Right.
immediate dumpster fire, most likely.
Because we didn't beat a winning team this year.
Correct.
No.
We played some, didn't beat them.
We got demolished by the winning.
Embarrassed.
Granted, I think the teams. I know a lot of people don't believe in it. I do believe that if a team gets hot at the right time, they can go deeper in the playoffs, and I think we are at that point right now.
Well, you're right. We certainly came alive right when you needed to do it.
And I'm fairly convinced, without seeing the chart the NFL puts out, by the way, that Carolina as a 1 seed would play the winner of the 4-5 because that's the lower of the favored seeds, and so I
Right.
think we get Carolina if we win.
I'm pretty sure we are.
Well, but my point
in the
was
playoffs.
Carolina hasn't locked up the 1 seed because if they lose and the Cardinals win, then the Cardinals
It goes
are
to
the 1 seed.
tiebreakers, somehow.
Well, the
Right.
team we should hope to play in the first round is the Packers. I they are the most beatable of all the three that we have to choose from. I mean, all you have to do is watch the Cardinals game against them. Their offensive line cannot protect Aaron Rodgers right now. I think we can really get some pressure on Aaron Rodgers, get him off his game, and then just we do our thing on offense like we've been doing, and we should be sitting pretty.
From a logical perspective, I agree with you, but I just fear Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs for some
Yeah.
reason. It might not be rational.
He's
but
proven.
No, that's
He's
rational.
proven.
He's proven. Yeah.
If you ask me, I think Minnesota's the easier matchup for us. Go with the weaker quarterback always. And the weaker of the three quarterbacks is Teddy Bridgewater.
Definitely TB. Yeah. He doesn't cut an opposing figure to me. He's kind of like Kylo Ren. Sorry, little jab I wanted to throw in there. Yeah, he doesn't scare me very much, and I'd probably prefer to face him. Robbie, I actually agree with you. I mean, Green Bay's been hurt by a lot of things this season. They have not been playing that well, but I kind of agree with Alex, whereas I would not ask for Aaron Rodgers to come into town for anything. Ironically, the team I want to face, and I know it's stupid, is Seattle. Now, this is something that we did a poll on, asking people who they wanted to face, and I understand we have the results of this poll.
Yes, we posted
Steve
this on
was polling
Twitter.
our audience members.
I was.
Shout out
A
to the
large
fans.
poll.
Oddly enough, there was a tie. The question posed to our Twitter family was, if you could, who would you pick as the Skins' first playoff opponent and why? And the raw numbers came out: 37% Seattle, 37% Green Bay, and 26% Minnesota.
Wow.
So a tie between Seattle and Green Bay. Some of the
I
responses.
find it interesting that so few people wanted Minnesota, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we'll read a few of the better ones here, but generally speaking, I think it fell into a couple camps. The Seattle folks either thought we want revenge, or
And that's what it
Seattle traveling all the way to the East Coast without a running game may be better for us.
Meh.
Yeah, and the Green Bay folks saw the game against the Cardinals last week, which was just, atrociously awful. But I will read a couple. You want me to read a couple
Yes.
responses?
Yes,
yeah.
please do.
Yeah.
Here.
I'm actually jumping on
Okay.
just to see all of them because I haven't read them all.
Ron Burgundy in Gold, who I think we know. I think
Yeah.
we know who that is. Says he voted for Green Bay. Says because Green Bay because their defense is more vulnerable than the others and their offense is one-dimensional. One-dimensional being Aaron Rodgers does everything.
Yep.
True words.
James Price, who goes by the handle Hog Wild. Seattle with Seahawks without a running game on the East Coast is a dream come true. Lynch is due back, but did they play well with him in the lineup? Hint: no, they didn't. So there's a couple of them there. I think that's kind of the
General consensus?
Yeah, I think everybody's a little bit afraid of Adrian Peterson, probably. Because we've made bad running backs look like Hall of Famers, and then we have a Hall of Famer coming. He's going to look like Jim Brown, possibly.
That's right.
Man
That's a
among
great
boys.
point. Facing AP.
I'm still I'm still with the idea of you always want to face the lesser quarterback.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I think that's a good poll.
I think that's a conventional way to, kind of
Yeah.
plan
Football's
at
a game
least.
of the trenches,
Yeah.
and the worst front is on the Packers right now. That's how I see it. The weaker,
Who would you say
the,
is
weak,
the worst
the worst of
defense,
the
though,
three.
Robbie, of all
It's
three?
definitely the Packers. I think.
Yeah, it has to be the Packers.
It's actually great
For
points.
sure.
How interesting that all three of them receive sort of similar numbers. I mean, it's almost a even trio
Yeah.
split.
A little bit. I mean, Minnesota was a little bit behind. There's a serious number of people out there who, based on the comments we got, that really want to get revenge
Yeah.
on the Seahawks. I can't find the comment. I was just sitting there looking at it, but somebody tweeted at us that they want to see Trent Williams punch out, Richard Sherman again.
Oh yeah.
That was his
Sure.
reason for wanting us to see us face Seattle. So there's a big revenge factor.
And I'm for
here,
that
and-
too. I would love to, just kick the crap out of them and send them back to the Seattle, with their tail between their legs type thing. But still, they're a very dangerous team, and I don't want to take the chance of,
Yes.
trying to contain Russell Wilson and, him making plays on the run
Right.
and improvising like he does. That terrifies me.
I found the tweet. I got to read it. I'll get it because it was funny. This comes from somebody named The Dude, at The Dude Cares is his Twitter
Wait,
handle.
it's not Robbie?
No, it's not. He says, honestly, I want Trent Williams to slap the F off Sherman's face.
And I hate the freaking Eagles, man.
I read through a couple of them while you guys were going over them. Just a minor thing: people don't use the word "bro" when you're talking to people on Twitter. It sounds amateur.
No, it's bruh.
I'm not going to say who it was, but
yeah, we get a lot of bruh and bro for sure.
When did that whole thing start?
Bruh.
Jesus.
The pop collar age is over.
Embrace it.
The what?
Yeah.
The what age
Pop
is over?
collar.
The pop collar? Okay. Was that an age in the first place?
It was.
It was a brief age. It flamed out.
Yeah. I was in
I don't think I lived
college,
through
but it
that
was
age
awful.
somehow.
Okay. Moving on.
Well, yeah. So, any final thoughts about this playoff scenario before we cut? Next time we come back to you, we will be able to talk about our last game of the regular season. So let's get our thoughts out now.
And next time we talk, it'll be 2016.
That's true.
Holy crap, we're in the future, guys.
Should we make
Holy
predictions
shit.
of the Super Bowl run? Who makes it to the Super Bowl?
You want to do
Ooh.
a Super Bowl run prediction
Sure.
now? Or
Yeah,
you want-
why not?
Okay.
I mean, we know
All
we're in
right.
the playoffs.
Off
we
the
know we're in
cuff
the
here,
playoffs,
folks.
So why not?
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
We're not prepared for this.
Yeah, I hadn't really given the AFC any thought.
hey,
Hold
come on, bada bing.
How much thought do you really need to give the AFC?
Okay, well,
Pretty much
yeah.
clear at this point.
Yeah, the AFC is a little bit harder, isn't it? I mean, the NFC, the obvious two favorites are Carolina and Arizona. And so for the logical conclusion would be which of those two teams is going to, win. And I think, it matters a lot which one has home field advantage. Right. In my head, I'm sort of rooting, outside of the Redskins, obviously, for Cam Newton, just because I like the guy.
I like him too.
But I think if they catch Arizona when they're really motivated, Arizona is just deadly. If you guys have watched Arizona play this year, man, they are really good. But that having been said, I think that Carolina at home, Cam Newton rolling, I think Carolina wins as long as they have home field advantage. So why don't we do it by conference? You want to do it by conference?
Sure.
So my NFC pick is Carolina.
Carolina? Okay.
Yeah.
If we're just going to do NFC first, I think we all kind of agree that whoever comes out of the wild cards is going to get pounced on, no pun intended, by Carolina and the Cardinals. So
Indeed.
those two will meet up. I'm going to say Arizona. There's something about the way their offense runs. It's so much more efficient, which is going to be more dangerous in the playoffs.
John?
Fair enough. I will go Carolina, please. Thank you.
I'll say Cardinals. I think they are solid all across. And, I mean, they lost Tyrann Mathieu, and then the next week they kept clicking like he hadn't been playing at all. The next guy came in, and they just rolled right through Green Bay. So they're pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, even split.
AFC, yeah.
AFC
still, wise, I want to do it by conference too, so I give me a chance to actually think about it. Quite honestly,
smart. Because I'm looking at it right now.
That's a behind-the-scenes radio
I didn't even know
trick.
the Texans
Yeah.
made it.
It's a behind-the-scenes, radio trick. Here, let's talk about something else for a minute while we can think about this. Okay, the playoff teams in the AFC. New England's got the AFC East wrapped up. Cincinnati's got the AFC North. It's coming down to Houston and the Colts, believe it or not, in the AFC South. That's kind of the who cares division.
Yep.
Because, that's the NFC East of the AFC. And then the AFC West is Denver and Kansas City in some order or another. Now, my analysis of it is Denver with either despite the gaudy record, 11-4, Denver with either an injured Peyton Manning or Brock Osweiler, period, is not the same team. And their defense has kind of fallen off a little bit. Cincinnati is Andy Daltonless.
Right.
Is he going to be back for the playoffs? I don't think he is.
He's
right?
gone.
I think he's gone. New England is down a lot of people, but they're still New England, and so given the status of the AFC, and it's definitely the lesser conference, I think New England probably is going to, if by default, if nothing else, I'm going to pick New England. So Carolina, New England, Super Bowl for me.
Okay, I'm gonna be a little more daring with all this.
Good.
Well, I guess the Chiefs locked it up this week, right? So they're definitely in. They're just a wild card team.
Well, they're in the playoffs, but I don't believe that they have.
They're the
division
fifth seed
champion
right
has
now.
been decided. I don't believe.
5th seed right now. Oh, okay. So if they win and the Broncos lose, they could be. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
I actually like you said, the AFC is so much more up in the air. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think they've played strong, and they're probably one of the lesser hurt, banged up teams. I mean, you got 2 teams with backup quarterbacks, 3 really if the well, actually the Colts probably 2. So
the Texans are well past backup quarterback at this
point. And the
point.
Colts probably won't
They're into
have
like
Luck,
the 5th string quarterback.
So, you're going to have potentially half the teams in the AFC without their starting quarterback.
Even if the Colts had Luck, he hadn't played in half a season. I mean, number one, the Colts aren't going to get there. I mean, I saw the list of what it would take to get the Colts
ridiculous.
in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like 10 different things or something, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So odds are it's going to be Houston, not the
All right,
Colts.
well, then I'm going with the Chiefs. I think Alex Smith and Andy Reid, I've always kind of liked the way they've been, doing things.
Interesting. I like the pick and that it's a little different. I, unfortunately, am going to be pretty uninspired. I'm going to agree with Steve. I'm going to say Patriots. I understand that the AFC, there's a lot of teams with similar records, and that's true. It seems like it's more up in the air, but I don't really think it is. When it gets to playoffs and postseason situations, I think you go with Tom Brady. I know that they have been decimated by injuries, and if they do fail in the playoffs, it's going to be a continuation of injury problems and, injuries continuing to rear their heads, but frankly, the team's got the pedigree and the quarterback to take them through the postseason. That counts for a lot. These other teams you can't say that about. So I'm agreeing with Steve, actually completely, and saying Panthers, New England.
All right, well, I got
Duncan.
a surprise for you. I'm thinking that the Jets come into the playoffs and surprise everybody.
Wow.
I have a feeling about them.
Great, basic defense system,
And they got two incredibly talented receivers in Eric Decker, Brandon Marshall, and a running game in Chris Ivory and Stephen Ridley, I believe. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's been playing out of his mind. I think
would like to see it for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I've always kind of liked the guy.
Yeah, I think they're ready to just go on a big run and surprise everybody. I'm saying Jets, Cardinals.
The Jets have more work to do to even get in the playoffs.
Well, right now
they're not even in the tournament.
Yeah, they
yet.
are. They're the 6th seed right now, as it stands.
Yeah, I mean, but they haven't locked it up. That's all.
I mean, who do they play
Man.
next week?
They haven't locked it up
Steelers
yet.
could get in, and who else? There was one other team. Colts.
It's the Jets and the Steelers. But the Colts
Jets
are,
play the Bills next week.
The Colts are not going to get in.
The Jets would be kind of cool to see because who would have thought, just a few months ago when Ike and Kapale was punching people in the face, this season was like a foregone conclusion for them. And I think, they've played very well.
It's kind of funny that, when Rex Ryan leaves, they get better. That makes me happy.
So
I don't like Rex
as
Ryan.
He's not that great of a coach.
But yeah.
And, a former Red, who's in charge of the Jets is a former Redskin who we all know and love, Todd Bowles.
Yeah, former Redskin.
So you kind of have to root for
Temple
Todd
Bowles.
Bowles. Yeah, if Redskin fans are looking for an AFC team to root for, maybe that's it because of Todd Bowles.
Yep.
Maybe you root for the Jets.
Well, they play the Bills next week, and I think that's pretty much wrapped up. I mean, Bills had a rough time against the Cowboys last week. They It was like a field goal kicking contest, and then I think they roll over the Bills and then go right into the playoffs as a dangerous 6th seed.
And there's kind of a weird symmetry towards. There's kind of a weird symmetry and karmic justice with, the Jets beating Rex Ryan's team to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. Any team with Richie Incognito and Ike Anapale on it is not a good karmic team. Bad things are going to happen to them. All right, well, maybe we wrap there. We have one more game left in the regular season, so we will be coming at you with one more game recap before the postseason starts, which will be so exciting. Hopefully we got more wins coming there. So stick with us. Lots of fun coming up. Again, first Hogsty postseason experience. Please stick with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We will see you guys next time.
Some credit for the fact that the team's in the postseason. We started this and they turned it right around.
You're right. We're the karma. Yeah, see, we're the source of good karma for the Redskins.
And I think we can say we can't announce who our guest is going to be because we don't know really for sure who it will be. But I think I can guarantee we will have a guest for playoff week. I can say that much.
I think so.
I'll guarantee that.
And they will be awesome, whoever they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Whoever it is.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Later.
Woot.